Imagine becoming so wealthy that it would bring tears to a family's eyes. They were tears of something far worse than happiness. TV personality Simon Cowell, who is well known for his witty remarks and even more astute economic acumen, has amassed a wealth of over $300 million. However, what if this enormous riches has a secret? A decision regarding its future that could cause his loved ones' hearts to shatter? The triumph of Simon Cowell is the first item that is mentioned in our article. As of 2025, he has an incredible net worth of $600 million. He earns enormous sums of money as a judge and director on popular shows like Pop Idol, American Idol, The X Factor, and the Got Talent series. He also made a lot of money marketing and signing musicians like Little Mix. But he didn't always have an easy time becoming wealthy. Before he had expensive automobiles and private flights, he nearly lost everything. In the early 1980s, he made an effort to succeed in the music industry. ENS Music came first, followed by Fanfare Music. He collaborated with vocalist Sunita on a successful song in 1986. But he nearly lost everything in 1989 when his firm failed. He owed the bank a substantial sum of money at the time, around £500,000. He even had his expensive Porsche seized to pay his debts. He had nowhere else to go, so he had to return to live with his parents. He lost practically everything he had worked so hard to acquire during this period of poor financial conditions, so it wasn't just a loss. Simon is strong, though. Getting a job with the major music label BMG helped him recover. To assist in locating up-and-coming musicians, he founded S Records, his own record company under BMG. He recruited bands like Robson and Jerome, two TV actors who released a song called Unchained Melody. The song sold millions of copies and immediately shot to the top of the UK charts, where it remained for 7 weeks. Robson and Jerome sold 5 million songs and 7 million albums together. They gave him his first $1 million, according to Simon. He also collaborated with popular bands like Westlife and Five. However, what made a man worth £800,000 worth £500,000? $1 million? In actuality, he has an excellent talent sense and even superior business acumen in the TV industry. After competing on Pop Idol in the UK in 2001 and American Idol in the US in 2002, he rose to fame. His incisive, honest, and frequently direct remarks, even if they angered others, were what made him popular. First, he received $8 million per season as an American Idol contestant. However, he rose to fame pretty rapidly. He was reportedly earning $36 million a season by 2005. Even an incredible $45 million was granted to him per season thereafter, but he chose to leave the program instead. American Idol gave him at least $24 million. However, Simon was not content to be a judge. In 2004, he founded his own firm, Psycho, and produced his own show, The X Factor. Additionally, he launched the Got Talent series, which currently consists of Britain's Got Talent and America's Got Talent. He became much wealthier as a result of these shows' global success. According to reports, he earned up to $75 million in 2012 and 2013 on the X Factor alone. According to reports, he earned approximately £6 million, or £6 for both the X Factor UK and Britain's Got Talent. $8 million per season, in addition to his earnings as a director. According to Forbes magazine, he earned $95 million annually in 2013 and $51 million annually in 2020. Due to the success of his performances, his company, Psycho Entertainment, had an intriguing business trip. He was wealthy from his company, Psycho Entertainment. Sony Music acquired a sizable portion in Psycho in 2005. The two businesses collaborated as a single brand for many years. This partnership was very successful, and the TV shows helped a lot of musicians get their start. However, Simon made a significant move in 2020. He repurchased Sony Music's stake in Psycho Entertainment. To put it another way, he was the host of TV programs like The X Factor and Got Talent. Sony retained Psycho's music division, including its musicians and back catalog. Shortly thereafter, Psycho's record label ceased operations. With this run of significant corporate deals, Simon has wisely shifted his attention. By returning to, he gained complete control over the most valuable and well-known aspects of his enterprise when he purchased the TV series. This demonstrates that, as the music industry evolved, he realized that the best way to generate revenue and expand his company was through the TV program concepts he developed rather than the traditional methods of managing a record label. Simon Cowell's wealth allows him to reside in some truly cool places. His collection of houses is as spectacular as his career. Even these large houses, however, have tales to tell. For many years, he owned a massive £45 million home in London's Holland Park. However, he did sell it in 2023. Why? He didn't feel safe living there anymore, so he fled. In 2012, a lady with a brick broke into Simon's toilet, and in 2015, a robber stole his passports and valuables while his family slept. Simon was constantly terrified after these terrifying incidents. Despite spending £500,000 on security, a criminal organization is alleged to have sold a replica of his front door lock. He decided to go to the country with his fiancée Lauren Silverman, their dog, and kid Eric after making the hard decision to leave London. But don't feel sorry for him. Additionally, there is a gorgeous house on the beach in Malibu, California. With a private tennis court, a garage full of supercars, and expansive views of the ocean, this location is a real jewel. Estimates of its worth range from $24 million to $32 million. Frequently during Christmas vacations, Simon enjoys spending time in Barbados. He even used a lavish home there for the residences of his X Factor judges. The price of this specific 10-bedroom home, named Cove Spring House, was $19.7 million in 2020, or almost $25 million. It features a cinema, a gym, a large 75-foot pool, and its own private beach. Simon even gave the gym there a unique exercise machine known as a power plate. The Cove Spring House is actually a private mansion that is rented out when its owner is away, despite reports that he has viewed the property and intended to purchase it for up to $10 million. Although it's unclear if he owns Cove Spring House, he clearly intended to establish himself there and purchase a beachfront home because he likes the island and has stayed in some very opulent locations. Beyond his opulent residences, Simon Cowell's incredible automobile collection amply demonstrates his love of luxury and speed. With some of the world's fastest and priciest cars, his garage is a car enthusiast's paradise. It is estimated that his entire collection of cars is worth about $1.3 million. The Bugatti Veyron is the diamond in the crown of his collection. This vehicle is an engineering marvel and incredibly quick. It can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in only 2 seconds because to its potent 1001 horsepower engine. 5 seconds, with peak speeds exceeding 250 miles per hour. The value of this amazing equipment alone is a cool $1 million. The Rolls-Royce Phantom is another vehicle that exudes elegance and grandeur. As a blatant indication of his prominence, Simon frequently shows up in his Phantom to important occasions like live auditions. This vehicle, which costs at least $500,000, is renowned for its quiet and comfortable ride. He also has a vintage Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 3 and a $300,000 Rolls-Royce Ghost. Simon's passion for Italian speed is demonstrated by the numerous Ferraris in his collection. Among these is a Ferrari California, which costs approximately £140,000 to $170,000. In addition, he owns a Ferrari F430 and 360. Another is the Ferrari 458 Italia, which retails for about $300,000. His collection also includes a number of Bentleys, which are renowned for their ability to combine performance with luxury. A Bentley Continental GT and a Bentley Continental Convertible, which retail for about $225,000 new, are included in this. He owns a Bentley Azure as well. In addition, Simon has a number of Jaguars, ranging from vintage beauties to modern powerhouses. Among them is the vintage Jaguar XK120, a Jaguar F-Type coupe that costs, and a Jaguar E-Type Series 2 for about $70,000. The Jaguar Eagle Speedster, one of his most costly vintage vehicles, may sell for more than $2 million. He even owns a new Tesla Model S for $100,000 and a strong Lamborghini Urus that costs about $200,000. He even has an Aston Martin DB7 and a modest, practical Smart 4 which is his most economical vehicle at about $20,000. In contrast to his public persona as a tough businessman who solely considers his profession, this aspect of his life reveals a side of Simon that enjoys luxury, speed, and great craftsmanship for his personal enjoyment. The decision that might make his family cry is the section of the story that really leaves you wondering. Simon Cowell has made an unexpected statement regarding who would receive his enormous $600 million fortune. He has stated unequivocally that his son Eric would not receive any of his earnings. Simon's strong beliefs regarding money are the reason behind his unexpected statement. He declared that he will donate his money to a charity, probably to support dogs and children. In response to an inquiry about this, he told Esquire magazine, "I don't believe in that passing on from one generation to another. He feels that a person should leave opportunities and knowledge rather than just money. He wants his money to help those in need, not just his family." Simon does donate large sums of money to numerous organizations. In addition to serving as vice president of Shooting Star Children's Hospices, he assists Together for Short Lives. In addition, he donates to the Katie Piper Foundation, which supports burn victims, and animal rights organizations like Battersea Dogs Home, RSPCA, and PETA. As an advocate for the renowned Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children, he has contributed to the 2010 Haitian earthquake victims' relief efforts. He also donates to other worthy organizations like Hope Sanctuary Barbados and Help for Heroes. Simon Cowell is also the founder of the Wildlife Aid Foundation, a charitable organization. After learning that he had lung cancer that would not return, he launched a campaign called Simon's Last Wish. However, this is not the music tycoon Simon Cowell. It demonstrates how charitable contributions can significantly impact a large number of people. Since Simon has discussed how having Eric in 2014 significantly altered his life, this decision about his will is all the more intriguing. He claimed that having a child revolutionized his life, even though he had never imagined having one. He even claimed to have become fixated after seeing Eric scan for the first time in person, saying, "Life looked very different to me after that." He now considers Eric whenever he makes a decision. Lauren Silverman, his partner, added that he discovered life has more to offer after becoming a father. "What's the point of having all this if you don't have someone you want to share it with?" she remarked, highlighting the complexity of the situation. Simon made it known that he would donate his money to charity before Eric was even born. He took this action because he really believed in helping others and succeeding on your own. Nevertheless, he discussed how the arrival of Eric caused a significant shift in his emotions and objectives. Has he changed his mind about his will if becoming a father has softened his heart? Or will his fervent views on inherited riches ultimately prevail, depriving Eric of a direct inheritance from his enormous fortune? This is the query posed by the title. Emotional worry for his financial future results from this. The estate tax laws in the UK are another factor that adds complexity. There, Simon has several assets. If a person has a very large wealth, they may be taxed up to 40% of anything over a particular amount. However, if 10% of the estate's worth is donated to charity, this percentage might drop to 36%. Formal agreements known as trusts can also help reduce taxes. For those with a lot of money, the tax benefits are a practical and beneficial consideration, but some people, like Simon, intend to give their fortune to charity because they believe in it. Even a well-known and influential person like Simon Cowell must cope with difficult issues and public drama. His life has transformed as a result of these challenges in unexpected ways. He fainted and tumbled down the stairs at his London house in 2017. Doctors ultimately concluded that low blood pressure was the culprit. He claimed it was a major shock and a reminder that he is not unbeatable. He vowed to look after himself better for Eric's sake. Additionally, Simon has been involved in 2 serious collisions involving extremely powerful electric motorcycles. He injured his back in August 2020 after falling off a brand new electric motorcycle he was testing out at his Malibu residence. It was corrected by an 8-hour operation that involved inserting a metal rod into his spine. He even suffered long-lasting nerve damage as a result of the collision. He claimed that the accident was predestined since it revealed his weakness and allowed him time to heal during the lockdown. Despite this awful incident, he still has a deep affection for his motorcycles. He was involved in another serious e-bike accident in 2022. These health scares, particularly the falling spell and the severe back injury, probably caused Simon to reflect on his life and his priorities. The discomfort and the healing period likely made him think more about himself. This might have improved his perception of his legacy, or it might have improved his bond with Eric and caused him to reconsider his financial goals. His personal values and, thus, his treatment of his finances and family may have been significantly impacted by these life-threatening incidents. This makes his fortune even more mysterious. As a judge, Simon gained notoriety for his blunt and frequently hurtful remarks. He frequently apologized for his rudeness before ranting at rivals. Although he performed well on American Idol, he was frequently referred to be the villain. Using terms like "bush babies" or "worst singers in the world," he ridiculed the candidate's weight. He gained notoriety after admitting to William Hung that he was not a singer or dancer. He developed this aggressive persona with the assistance of his publicist, Max Clifford, in an effort to generate drama and attract a large audience. There were also other issues with the shows after they ended. Sob tales, according to some, are overused in manufactured scenarios to make people feel horrible. Additionally, there were issues with the way that marketers' products were displayed. For instance, hotels and Nokia phones were displayed far too frequently. Some competitors thought they were misled or exploited on television. One X Factor UK candidate said that the management forced him to reveal he was gay on stage before he was ready and put him in awkward situations to elicit a more emotional response. The situation was made much more dramatic by the news coverage of Simon's personal life. He found out in 2013 that Lauren Silverman, his friend's wife, was expecting his child. The documents her husband sent to obtain a divorce included Simon's name. In the end, they resolved their differences out of court, and on Valentine's Day of 2014, their son Eric was born. From nothing, Simon Cowell created an empire. Even though he had filed for bankruptcy, he is currently among the most influential figures in entertainment. His income is enormous. His automobiles are incredible, and his homes are extremely luxurious. He has experienced both private and public issues, including health worries, while establishing a global reputation. However, the issue remains: will his family truly be moved by this immense wealth? Not because it was depressing, but rather because of a startling decision on its future. The ultimate fate of Simon's wealth is complicated by his long-held beliefs about inheritance, his great desire to serve others, and the life-altering experience of becoming a parent. Since the final chapter of Simon Cowell's financial saga has not yet been completed, many people are speculating about what he will do in the end. Do you think he will continue to believe that inherited riches causes more harm than good? If so, will he decide to donate to a charity instead, giving power to strangers? Or will he alter his will in a significant but private way because his love for his only son, Eric, will outweigh those thoughts? This is definitely not your typical family wealth. This legacy consists of profound emotional transformations, global recognition, and strong instincts. This fortune was the result of years of risk-taking, hard labor, and a public persona that inspired both admiration and disgust. Simon Cowell's life is also becoming less hectic now that he is spending more time with his family, recovering from health problems, and avoiding the media. Eric Cowell is still very young, therefore the question, what comes next, becomes increasingly significant. What kind of world will he leave behind in terms of wealth and morals? Simon Cowell is a strong and self-assured man, but sometimes he has to make very personal and emotional choices. Giving something as a gift isn't just about money, it's also about value. Rather than the money he made or the fancy cars he drove, Simon may be most proud of the people he changed through his shows, his charities, and most importantly, the boy who changed him. The mystery won't be solved until the last formal papers are signed and the will and testament are made public, but one thing is certain. Simon Cowell's story isn't just about money. It's about what we leave behind, not only financial gain, but also the affection of those we love.